Hello there, World of Tankers, and hopefully Wargaming employees. This is a video where I'm going to be sharing my opinions and my feelings to what you guys could do to help the game be a much better place in the future. I'm going to be sharing this video to Wargaming, and I would love some sort of response. I would love maybe the ability to talk to people in Wargaming and see if any of the ideas and opinions that I have here today could be implemented and explored further. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about all the things that would help the game a lot. The problems and issues that us as players have, right? I'm a player that religiously plays Blitz, and I've played the game for 11 years now. I know the ins and outs of the game. I know every single mechanic, every single tank, better than probably the people that even work on this game. And that's not to say that I know better, but it's to point out that it's not like I'm just some random schmuck making opinions. I care about this game. It's basically a job for me, and because of that, I treat it very, very preciously, should I say. With that being said, let's get straight into it. Starting off, the most simple of problems is the Type 5 Heavy. Wargaming announced the Type 5 Heavy was obviously coming into the game, and this was huge news. My video has over 30,000 views, and that's super popular for Blitz. It was massive news when it was announced. And I was so happy that the Type 5 was coming into the game. I was like, whoa guys, we have a new tech tree tank that everybody's going to be able to grind. We've been waiting for years. We've all been bugging Wargaming to add it, and they're finally adding it. And then, Wargaming posted a YouTube short. And in that YouTube short, it said the Collector Type 5 Heavy. In other words, it's not going to be a tech tree. Now this is a big bummer for two reasons. First of all, you're getting rid of content. There is a tech tree that has tanks from tier 5 to tier 9 that you guys are basically scraping off the edge of the planet because you're adding the Type 5 as a collector. The Type 4 Heavy, the OHO, the ONI, the OI Experimental, and the OI are all vehicles that are not going to be part of a line now because you guys have decided that you want the Type 5 to be a money-earning vehicle. The second problem is that you're telling all these players who have been begging and begging and begging for years that, oh yeah, you know that tank that you've really wanted to be added into the game? Well, we're going to add it, but if you want to get your hands on it, you have to pay $200, $300, maybe more. If you guys treat it like the Waffenträger and put it in 3% drop chance lockbox crates, whatever, maybe it cost me $600 to get the Waffenträger LF100. I'm not spending that money on a Type 5 Heavy. It's not happening. But the point being, why are we making the Type 5 a collector? I know why, because you can monetize it. But here's my question to you, Wargaming. Could you not monetize any other vehicle in the game? There are so many tanks in World of Tanks PC that are collectors or reward vehicles, like the Vickers MBT-3, BZ-72-1, Griffin, the Object 279E, the Object 780, the Schwertel, the FE201, the VZ-60S, and DBV-152. Why couldn't you have made any of these tanks a collector? They're not part of lines. They're not going to interfere with tech trees at all. And if you say, oh, well, the Type 5 has more presence, we'll make more money off of it. Really? You think the Type 5 has more presence than the FE201? This is like the most overpowered tank. How about the Object 279E, another incredibly overpowered tank? If you put these vehicles into the Christmas crates, you would make much more money, 100%. Make the Type 5 a tech tree. Make it a vehicle that every single player can get their hands on. Because I can tell you for a fact that if you do, not only will the player base actually be super happy because you will have listened to our feelings, but then we will also have something to grind that we've all wanted to grind, bringing people back into the game. It's literally a win-win situation for your guys, especially in the current relationship that Wargaming has with the community due to Reforged. Please make the Type 5 Heavy a tech tree. I'm begging you. It will make the community so much happier. That's the first thing that I wanted to cover. All right? The second thing that I wanted to cover is the lack of content for skilled players. Listen, I'm a skilled player, right? Every month I'm ranked anywhere from top 10 to the top 5 highest damage dealing and win rate averaging player in the NA server. And the reason I'm saying that is because as a player who has almost everything on my account, it's very boring to play Blitz without a goal. I mean, yes, right now we have the clan event. And the clan event is actually fun because it gives me something to do. But you guys only really do the clan event like once every, you know, every year. What about the other 11 months? I've been saying this for a long time. I really want mission marathon campaigns in Blitz. I think my game just crashed. It did. Okay. Either way, I really, really want mission marathon campaigns. What are those? Well, basically, in World of Tanks PC, the Object 279E and the Object 260 are both reward vehicles that any player can earn by completing a super, super long set of difficult and tough missions. And it's something that I've been wanting in Blitz forever. I would love for Wargaming to add maybe the DBV-152, the BZ-72-1, some random tier 10 into a mission campaign where you have to do a bunch of these super challenging missions to get your hands on vehicles. The reason this would be really good for the game is, obviously, it would give players like me something to grind. It would give all these skilled players that are currently leaving the game something to get and prove that they're skilled. Because, let's be honest, the competitive scene of Blitz is definitely dying. The comp scene 5 years ago was much more competitive than it is right now. I mean, heck, getting top 8 on the NA server is like a walk in the park at this point. It's honestly kind of sad. And it's because the skilled players don't have anything to do apart from play comp. But when they don't really have much of a competition in comp, there's not really much left to do at that point. So I would love for the ability to have mission campaigns, super challenging missions, deal 7,000 damage in 5 games as one of the final objectives or something like that. Get 7 kills in 3 games. Whatever it is, it would give players like myself a huge amount of grinding and content. The second thing that I would love to be added into the game, which is something that we've talked about a lot in the past, Marks of Excellence. Marks of Excellence are a very simple concept. Basically, you get 1, 2, or 3 stars or gold on your tank. And the way it works is the better you are at the game, the more stars you get. So 1 star is like 75% mark. And what that means is you're better than 75% of the people that have played in that tank over the past 30 days. 2 marks is 85%, 3 marks is 95%, and then gold marks would be 100% or 99%. So you're better than 99% of the people that play that tank. Now, just like World of Tanks PC, the gun marks won't go down. But think of the content you would give the player base. Think of the content I could make out of this Wargaming. If you add 3 marks into the game, I am now able to do live stream after live stream after live stream. Other content creators are able to do live stream after live stream, being like, hey, I'm going to try and 3-mark this tank. I'm going to try and 3-mark this tank. Think about the content that it would bring to the game. And there's no way it's really that challenging to add a 3-mark system into Blitz. You don't even need to put it on the gun barrels. Just make it so right in the name tag here, instead of the rank, just have 1, 2, or 3 stars next to my Death Star. Or put it right here. 1, 2, or 3 stars. That's all you have to do. It doesn't even need to be a physical cosmetic on the tank. I just want people to see how many marks I have on my vehicle, and I want to be able to see it in the garage as its own little tab. That's all I want, and it would be so nice. Those 2 things would ultimately keep skilled players in the game, and I'm 100% confident on that. Ask any skilled player. It's not even that really big of an update, and yet it would really help us out a lot. So that's the 2 main things. Mission campaign and Marks of Excellence. Those are something that the skilled players really want. The biggest thing for me right now is also the balancing behind the game. Let's be real. The current state of the game is in a pretty not great spot because of the balancing that is going on. What do I mean? Well, you guys understood that there was a problem with autoloaders. I don't know if it's because I was constantly complaining about autoloaders or the fact that you guys had statistics clearly proving that autoloaders were a problem. But you guys understood when you rebalanced the game about a year ago that autoloaders were an issue that needed to be tackled. And I'm happy about that. But the way that you went around autoloading tanks was wrong. Because what you did is you buffed all single shots. The average DPM of a tier 10 heavy is now 2,750. That's insane. 2,700 DPM for a heavy used to be considered like really freaking good, and now it's average. A lot of people can't even wrap their minds around that. And that's a problem, because what you guys have done is, instead of nerfing the autoloaders, making their reloads longer, making their intro clips longer, what you've done is you've buffed every single shot. The mediums have more DPM and reactive. The heavies have more DPM, and you've done all these changes to a point where basically you just everything dies immediately. Like, literally, everything dies immediately. It's a little hard to enjoy the game when in the first 20 seconds you have a teammate that's instantly dead because they made an over-aggression, and boom, it's over. It's a problem. It happens on World of Tanks PC, but because there's 15v15, it's not as big of an issue. So there's two solutions I have to the problem. The first solution is a really simple one. Make it 10 versus 10. This is something that I've been saying for a while. 10 versus 10 gives the matchmaker more leniency on what players to put on each team, and it also makes it so that if you have one player that instantly evaporates, you still have 9 others that are still going to be there. That is a really nice thing. It allows the games to last longer. It allows players like myself to have more fun, more time, and enjoy the game a little bit longer, as it would increase the duration of battles. The second solution would be to nerf all tanks DPM by about 20%. If you nerf every single tank's DPM by 20% evenly, all it's going to do is make the battles last 20% longer. That's all it's going to do. So if there's a problem with turbo battles, nerf tanks that are overpowered, nerf every vehicle's DPM in general back to what they were 2020 instead of 2025, and we're in a good state. Like, you guys keep buffing tanks that used to be strong. Like, I think the best example is the IS-3 Defender. The IS-3 Defender used to be, well, I guess it's a Soviet tank. The IS-3 Defender used to be one of the strongest tier 8s in the game. I remember when Bushka made a video on it back in the day, and he basically said, like, this tank is hella overpowered. You need to get your hands on it. Now, IS-3 Defender isn't even talked about. Why? Because it's so far down, even after the armor buffs, that people just don't care about it. There's so many better tanks. This tank should be just as strong as any other tank. And the problem isn't the IS-3 Defender, it's that all the other vehicles around it are too strong. And that's exactly what I'm talking about here. How does a tank go from balanced a couple years ago, in fact overpowered, to now considered bad, or not even that good? It's just, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Power creep is real. And instead of buffing everything, you need to take a second and you need to think, okay, we've just been constantly upping DPM, upping mobility, upping these mechanics. Tone them down, balance the game a bit, nerf vehicles that are too strong, leave the ones that are balanced the same. That's as simple as it is. My tier 10 tier list right now is cooked. My tier list has like 25% of tier 10s in the overpowered category. And it's because they're overpowered. The E50M did not need a buff, and yet it got one. And now it's spam to all hell, and it ruins the fun for a lot of players. When you make a vehicle super overpowered like the E50M, and then people start spamming it and doing double platoons, you're really just taking the enjoyment out of players like me that don't want to constantly have to try hard every single game to have a fun experience. The casual player is the person that really gets affected by this, because the casual player doesn't want to have to try hard every single game against an E50M with reactive armor rushing them to have a fighting chance. So it's definitely something you guys need to think about. I think the balance of the game is a huge deciding factor. Honestly, that's really all I had to talk about. There's not much else. I mean, there is definitely some over monetization in Blitz, but I'm going to chalk that off to you guys trying to make money for Reforged. I'm hoping that when Reforged does get released, you get a little bit more lenient when it comes to the amount of money you ask from the player base. But yeah, the biggest problems I have with the game, as I said, Type 5 Heavy not being a tech tree is really stupid, and I think that that's a very bad decision on Wargaming's marketing team. I think that the game should have more challenging missions for skilled players to unlock tier 10s, and, you know, make a super long mission marathon just like PC. And the final thing that I really, really want to see fixed is 10 versus 10. And I just want to see the game in a much more enjoyable state, right? The number one thing for me about any game is fun. And right now, it's just a little bit hard to have fun in this game when you get games like this. I mean, this game is a perfect example. The matchmaker already made this a completely unwinnable game because the enemy team has two mediums. They have an ATAC, and then they also have a Caro. So already they have two vehicles which have been able to flank because I am in a tank that can't combat those two tanks. And then while that's going on, we have also lost the heavy flank and lost the medium flank. We have lost every single flank on this game. There's nothing I can do. There's literally nothing that I can do to change the course of this battle. And that's not to say that I wished there was something to do, but I should not be stuck in a situation where I'm the only medium against two tanks, one of which is a higher tier. It just doesn't really add up. The game should be fair. You should have an even chance of winning both games. You shouldn't have one team that's just flat better than the other team like this. But, oh well. This is why, as I said, 10v10 would be a lot better, because if you had that situation, I wouldn't be rushed by two mediums, because the matchmaker would be more lenient, and it would be able to give both teams an even number of mediums, an even number of heavies, and tank destroyers. But either way, that's my opinion. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments, and I hope that I get some sort of response from Wargaming. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!